Well, happy afternoon. We are here on a Friday. I am suffering today, let me tell you. Last night I took Smokey out for his walk before I decided to chill for the rest of the evening. And it was such a beautiful night. I had my music on and I was just vibing. So we decided to run like half of the way, which was really great because actually I was running and Mr. Smokey was walking fast. So anyways, today I woke up and oh my gosh, I don't know what happened, but my back hurts so bad. Now, I didn't plan on running, and so I didn't really have gym clothes on. I didn't have the best shoes on either, and so I think that that's probably an issue. But, I mean, I had tennis shoes on, but they're not my favorite shoes for running in general. And so, nonetheless, my back really hurts. I almost feel like there's a pinched nerve or something going on because it's just certain ways that I move my body that it just hurts. So I'm like, this is why running is just evil. It's terrible. It's going to take me down, I tell you. But it felt great to run. I did have my phone and my bra because, again, I wasn't really planning on running when the spirit of run took over me. So I was holding it, and I don't know if maybe that, like I was stressed or I don't know. Anyways, I'm injured. So I'm just taking it easy today. Thankfully, but also not thankfully, but thankfully I don't have Charlie today. Usually I have Charlie on Fridays, but he has a very terrible cold. So his mom contacted me and told me that she was going to stay home with him because he was up until 3 a.m. and he wasn't happy with anybody or anything. And he really hasn't eaten anything, but I just stressed to her that that was okay and that maybe just making sure he stays hydrated is key. With that in mind, I have a gecko. You guys remember Randall. So my gecko needed water and I refilled it, and then I put my water bottle over there as I was trying to feed him his worms and all of that, right? And so this morning I took like an hour looking for my water bottle because I'm like, there is no way that I threw that out. I had to misplace it, right? And then I thought maybe Charlie grabbed it. There's like, because of dialysis, I have so many of the Baxter boxes. And so there's a specific area that they go to when we're going to haul them out to the garbage, right? And sometimes there's 2 boxes. And I also use them for donation too. And so sometimes I've had to check them before I take them to donation to make sure that Charlie hasn't helped donate things, right? But it wasn't there either. And then I realized because I was feeding Randall yesterday and giving him water, then I put my water bottle over there. So all of that to say, here is my water bottle. It is, let me find out, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I am at, oh, I'm not bad. It's new. It's 11 o'clock on my scale here. So I do have to say that at 1 o'clock I'm supposed to be basically halfway done, but I did have tea already and I've had 2 cups of coffee, so I'm pretty sure that that fills up that space. But it's funny how in the winter it is just so much more difficult to drink cold water, or at least just water in general. So last week I decided that around so because the weather has shifted so much to being chilly, I have decided to have tea quite a lot. And so my favorite tea is like this tangerine tea. I forgot who makes it, but it's just really, really good tea. I also like to take Emergency, and the reason that is, and I don't know if it's bad for us or not, but I do know this. When COVID first hit, my daughter actually got super sick with it because it wasn't officially released in name. It was just this bad flu at that time. She was traveling from her place down here to Tucson, which took her about 2 days. And so I remember her taking a long time to get here because she was pulling over and sleeping. Of course, her boyfriend and her were just taking it really easy coming. And I think they got a couple of hotel nights or something like that. I don't really remember. Gosh, it's almost 5 years ago. Can you believe that? That's crazy. But anyways, so I, at that time, was working at a donation place, like a Goodwill kind of situation. And I was not on dialysis yet. And so so there we would get Costco's returns as long as they were good, you know, like no food products. But sometimes people would take, let's say the Emergen-C, and they would try it and then they didn't like how it tasted, because in your head you kind of feel like it needs to be very orange juicy, and it's not. And so people would return it. We would end up getting it there at the thrift store, and we would be able to, I don't remember if we were able to resell that or not. Some of the stuff, like we would repackage things like that, because, you know, we're trying to keep stuff from going to the garbage, right? And so we had packs and packs and packs of that stuff. And when people started getting the flu, I just saw it one day and I thought, I'm going to throw it in with my hot tea, because the back warehouse room, which I worked at, was really chilly. So in the summer it was real warm but manageable, but in the winter it was really, really cold. And so I would go and make myself a cup of tea like 2 or 3 times a day, and I would just throw one of those in a day, and I tell you, I did not get sick, not once, not with anything during that whole time. As far as I know, I've never caught COVID. But I'm not one to go get tested either. I'm one to just say, give me the flu, you know, I'll do the flu. I'll get sick. I'll have a cold. I don't really scare easily in that sense. So, that's why I'm a fan of Emergen-C. So I don't know if that was in my head or if it was just luck of the draw. But anyways, now that the winter months are coming again, I go ahead and do one of those a day, and it's delicious in the tangerine tea. So, and then I also do green tea, because I just like green tea and I love the benefits of green tea. And then if there's any other teas, I get that. And sometimes when I visit my mom, I know that my mom, or maybe this is not true, but this is what I want to say, is that my mom tends to be a collector of teas. And so sometimes when I go and visit, I'll see what kind of styles of teas or flavors of teas she has. And then I'll bring back some for myself, because I feel like her generation is one that has tea. And I don't know, except for maybe one other person, maybe 2 people who do a lot of tea. Mostly it's coffee, you know, like, and then that'll end up being like Starbucks or, you know, your local coffee shop place, or for Donnie, it's QT. So, I've just always liked tea, and I think it's because I grew up with my grandmother. She was from England, and so we often had tea for breakfast. In fact, I think when I lived with her, we had a little 4-cup coffee pot just for that occasional cup of coffee, but I don't really even think I made coffee then, but probably for the mornings. But a lot of mornings we would have tea and butter on graham crackers. That was my breakfast when I lived with her, and it was fine, you know. So yeah, anyways, so that's how I combat not drinking a lot of this bottle. Although overnight I will drink it. Like if that thing is full, by the time I wake up in the morning, I've drank that whole thing. Which, by the way, I did go to DaVita, and I had my collection that I had to take with me. So in that collection was my pee jug, And that's so that they measure how much pee you're still processing, because eventually you end up not peeing anymore. And I'm happy to report that I pee quite a bit. So in fact, I didn't give all my pee because I ended up going to an event that evening that I was collecting, and of course I couldn't hold it all the way till I got home, because even at bars, the bars now know that when I show up, they just bring me a whole thing of water. Usually it's one of those little pitchers of water, and I'll drink that whole thing the whole time I'm there. So I don't know. I don't really have an issue with it, but I do know that it can be discouraging. So that's my long story today is, if you're having trouble drinking water and you're not a coffee drinker, maybe tea is a thing for you. I would definitely not count soda as your beverage, though. Don't try to get tricky with it. So yeah. So anyways, I'm glad I found my water bottle, because I was like, even though it was only $4 on an Amazon clearance, I still didn't want to have lost it. So anyways, have a good day. I will talk to you guys soon.